Hello, welcome to the Self-Learning Podcast by Dr. Sushma Singh. Let us start discussion on Chapter 4, The Market as a Social Institution. We usually think of markets as places where things are bought and sold. In this common everyday usage, the word market may refer to particular markets that we may know of, such as the market next to the railway station, the fruit market, or the wholesale market. Sometimes we refer not to the physical place but to the gathering of people, buyers and sellers, who constitute the market. Thus, for example, a weekly vegetable market may be found in different places on different days of the week in neighboring villages or urban neighborhoods. In yet another sense, market refers to an area or category of trade or business, such as the market for cars or the market for ready-made clothes. A related sense refers to the demand for a particular product or service, such as the market for computer professionals. What all of these meanings have in common is that they refer to a specific market whose meaning is readily understandable from the context. But what does it mean to speak of the market in a general way without referring to any particular place, gathering of people, or field of commercial activity? This usage includes not only all of the specific senses mentioned above, but also the entire spectrum of economic activities and institutions. In this very broad sense, then the market is almost equivalent to the economy. We are used to thinking of the market as an economic institution, but this chapter will show you that the market is also a social institution. In its own way, the market is comparable to more obviously social institutions like caste, tribe, or family. Now, let us discuss the next topic, sociological perspectives on markets and the economy. The discipline of economics is aimed at understanding the explaining how markets work in modern capitalist economies. For instance, how prices are determined, the probable impact of specific kinds of investment, or the factors that influence people to save or spend. So, what does sociology have to contribute to the study of markets that goes beyond what economics can tell us? To answer this question, we need to go back briefly to the 18th century England and the beginning of the modern economies, which at that time was called political economy. The most famous of the early political economists was the Adam Smith, who in his book The Wealth of Nations attempted to understand the market economy that was just emerging at that time. Smith argued that the market economy is made up of a series of individual exchanges or transactions, which automatically create a functioning and ordered system. This happens even though none of the individuals involved in the millions of transactions had intended to create a system. Each person looks only to their own self-interest, but in the pursuit of this self-interest, the interest of all or of society also seem to be looked after. In this sense, there seems to be some sort of an unseen force at work that converts what is good for each individual into what is good for society. This unseen force was called the invisible hand of Adam Smith. Thus, the Smith argued that the capitalist economy is driven by individual self-interest and works best when individual buyers and sellers make rational decisions that serve their own interest. Smith used the idea of invisible hand to argue that the society overall benefits when individuals pursue their own self-interest in the market, because it stimulates the economy and creates more wealth. For this reason, Smith supported the idea of a free market, that is, a market free from all kinds of regulation, whether by the state or the otherwise. This economic philosophy was also given the name laissez-faire, a French phrase that means leave alone or let it be. Modern economics developed from the ideas of early thinkers such as Adam Smith and is based on the idea that the economy can be studied as a separate part of society that operates according to its own laws, living out the larger social and political context in which markets operate. In contrast to this approach, sociologists have attempted to develop an alternative way of studying economic institutions and processes within the larger social framework. Sociologists view markets as social institutions that are constructed in culturally specific ways. For example, markets are often controlled or organized by particular social groups or classes and have specific connections to other institutions, social processes, and structures. Sociologists often express this idea by saying that the economies are socially embedded. This is illustrated by two examples, one of a weekly tribal hut and the other of a traditional business community and its trading networks in colonial India. Now let us wind up the session, and thank you very much for engaging yourself with the self-learning podcast.